selected by the CTV and the CBC television networks to be presented for gentlemanly play and outstanding play to the captains of the two teams in the 74 series. And I have the great pleasure on behalf of CTV of presenting this Caprice medal to my good friend Mr. Boris Mikhailov, and also happy birthday. It's his birthday today with this medal for your outstanding play in the tournament in 1974. Congratulations and good luck to you.
All right, and Whitey, on behalf of similar presentation to you, the gold medallion, memoir for you of the 1974 International Hockey Team. All right, fellas, Boris, you can watch the game, and Pat, you're going to play in the game. Let's bring in Howie Meeker now, and we'll talk about the work we're going to do on televising this game tonight here at Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. Howie, come on in. They, as you know, gentlemen, have just made a rather unusual announcement here from the Soviet Ice Hockey Federation that if any violations of play occur, they're going to stop the game and not go any further, the Russian team.
Wait a minute. They accuse the members of the WHA of breaking all the rules, and the Soviets haven't broken one yet. Have you ever heard such rot in all your life?
Unbelievable.
I can't believe it. I simply cannot believe it. And just behind us in here now, there's something going on with the officials, and we'll try to find out what it is, but the Canadian officials are naturally upset. They would be irate, as anybody would be. I just can't comprehend anybody in sport anywhere making such an announcement before a game.
Oh, I don't know where they get the right to accuse us of being a ruffian. Holy Jumpster, how's the fact we're as guilty as we are if there has been rough play?
Well, to qualify and put limitations on how far you can go in a game and what you can do before you start under threat of withdrawal is a little unusual.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. That game is going to be underway in just a moment. We'll have more information for you. This is Game 8 of the Canada-Soviet series from Moscow. Just 100.
Bring it.
Here in Moscow, they're introducing the players for the last time in this 8-game series. Frank Mahavlich, who's playing tonight, is stepping forward now. Team Canada and the Soviets have both made a number of changes for this game. Paul Schmier and Rick Smith are not playing. Paul Henderson is not playing in this game for Team Canada. Mahavlich, who missed yesterday's game, is back, along with Mike Walton, who also missed yesterday's game. Brad Selwood is playing, and Gilles Grampton is the backup goalie. Now, the Soviets' introductions. The two goalies are out. Tretiak is not dressed tonight. Alexander Sadelnikov, number 1, is going to start. Now, this is number 5 stepping out for the Russians, Yuri Lyapkin. Number 12 is Kuznetsov. And Tierin, as the other Soviet players step forward. But not playing for the Soviet team, apart from the goalie, Vladislav Tretiak, who's about to miss his first game ever against the pros from Canada, is Valery Vasiliev, number 6, one of their outstanding players. And it would appear the Soviet team considers they have this series won, which indeed they do, on that disputed goal of yesterday. And we'll be looking at that a little more closely as we go along, but I can tell you that replays we looked at today, I'm told the replays did not get back to Canada yesterday due to a loss of picture at the end of the game, indicate the green light went on, then the red light, then the green light. But confusion still reigns about the time the Canadian team feels was wasted while the clock ticked on after a stoppage of play. Now we're just about ready for the national anthems of the USSR and Canada here for the last time in this series from Luzhniki Ice Stadium in Moscow. And now the exchange of gifts, as is customary between these two teams. But let me repeat, the announcement has been made by the Soviet Ice Hockey Federation accusing the WHA team of dirty play in the series. And the first example of that, they will stop this game tonight. This is Game 8 of the Canada-Soviet series from Moscow.
Заслуженный мастер спорта Советского Союза, чемпион Олимпийских игр мира и Европы Борис Михайлов награжден почетной грамотой Спорткомитета Советского Союза и памятным подарком. Награждает Бориса Михайлова председатель Федерации хоккея Советского Союза Николай Корольков.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boris Mikhailov, the captain of the USSR national team, is 30 years old today. On a decree of the chairman of the USSR Sports Committee, the Emeritus Master of Sport of the USSR, Olympic, World, and European champion Boris Mikhailov is awarded an honorary diploma and souvenir. The presentation is made by Mr. Nikolai Korolkov, the president of the Ice Hockey Federation of the USSR.
So we are awaiting the start of play, and as we state this game, if the Soviets carry through with their threat, if what they deem to be rough play occurs on the part of the Canadian team, then it will stop very promptly. It's one of the most amazing pregame conditions ever laid out before a sporting event, and it has just happened moments ago here in Moscow. The referee is Josef Kampala of West Germany. The linesmen are Valentin Nikolson of Moscow and Doug Robb, a Canadian from Bolton, Ontario. The USSR with 3 wins in this series, 1 for Team Canada, and now with that disputed goal yesterday, of course, a race to the last second, 3 ties in this series, heading into Game 8. Gordie Howe is coming out to start for the Canadian team, along with Ralph Backstrom, named the outstanding player in yesterday's game. Mark Howe will be on the left side. On defense, Al Hamilton with a strong game yesterday, and the captain, Pat Stapleton. In goal, of course, is Jerry Cheevers. The backup man today for Cheevers will be Jules Grandpa. And starting in goal for the Soviets, Alexander Sadelnikov as Stretchak gets a rest. Maltsev will take the face-off with Harlamov on his left. It is underway, and Maltsev wins the draw in the 8th game. The puck in the Canadian corner. Mark Howe getting it away from Kapustin. Now this is Stapleton working it up to the blue line. Backstrom could not control it there. Circling at center ice for the Soviets, number 18, Vikulov. Now Backstrom takes over and drives it back to the blue line. Here's Maltsev with Vikulov and Harlamov. Maltsev closing in, and Cheevers came out to cut down the angle and made the stop. The Canadians under pressure in the early seconds here in Moscow tonight in Game 8. Al Hamilton against Vikulov finally wins the puck to center ice. Harlamov takes it away inside the blue line against Stapleton. Centers it out in front. Back to the point. Here's a shot, and it's deflected. The rebound. Vikulov shot wide. Duchenko's drive, and then the rebound for Vikulov going wide of the Canadian goal. Here's Stapleton behind his own net. Team Canada a little shaky in the early seconds here. They played just about a minute. Moving up now to the blue line slowly is the 46-year-old wonder Gordie Howe. At the Soviet line, inside with Mark Howe. Tries to drop it to Mark. Went to Maltsev instead. Now Maltsev will send number 15, Yakushev, away as the Soviets have made changes. Shalamov, number 31, chasing it. Stapleton gets there first in the Canadian corner. The Canadians looking to make some changes now. The Soviets almost completely changed in the first shift. Here's the puck up coming from Howe to Mark Howe at center ice. He dumps it into the Soviet zone off the stick of Yuri Lyapkin. Now the Canadians make a change with the puck in the Soviet zone. Number 34 is Viktor Shalamov, swinging away at the blue line. Was cut down there by Howe. Soviet fans whistle. There's no penalty on the play. Now moving it up is J.C. Tremblay at the Canadian line. Tremblay looking for Bobby Hull. Led him too far on the left side. It is waved. It was deflected out in front. Here's Webster shooting. Oh, and he could not get his stick on it. He drifted it a mile wide with the goalie at his mercy, Sadelnikov. The Soviets shooting it back down the ice. Icing is waved on this one again. Marty Howe behind his own goal, getting pressure. Gets it over to Webster on the boards. Now back behind the goal for J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay being watched down there by number 31, Shalamov. Shalamov gets the puck, then is tied up by Howe. They scrape and scramble along the boards behind Jerry Cheevers, trying to clear it out to the point. The Soviet, Layapkin keeps it in. Down to Yakashev. Out to Cheevers. Rebound. Loose from Shadrick. Cheevers is down. Still loose. Trying to get into position for a shot, and now Jerry's back in the goal. Shadrin, a sandwich between two Canadian players, and Bobby Hull breaks out of there. Hull to center ice. At the Soviet line. Kuznetsov checking him. Hull stumbling in the corner. Bumped by Kuznetsov. For Lacroix now. He is bodied into the boards. The puck comes out to Sergei Kapustin, number 8. And the Soviets start back in this scoreless game. Here's Shadrin. Away from Howe. Down the boards offside for Kapustin. They finally get a whistle, having played a little over 3 minutes here in the opening period in a scoreless game. And I presume, Howie, to this point, the play has been satisfactory as far as the Soviets are concerned. The game is continuing.
Right. Here's a replay here where Cheevers gets the stick out in time to tip the puck away, and they took another rebound.
All right, number 21 now for the Soviets. Vladimir Vikulov sending Kapustin away. A long lead pass in the center ice area for Kotov. Kotov with an Easton inside the line. His shot was blocked there by Brad Selwood. They dig for it along the board. Selwood, number 6 for Canada. Wings in behind his own goal. Gates slowly up the left side. A pass to Jim Harrison. Left it over there on the far side, and they shoot it down behind the Soviet goal, and Sadelnikov comes out to stop it. This is Kapustin now. Harrison gets a piece of him going in. A loose puck out of Strada, and Sadelnikov grabs it with the big hand. Frank Mahavlich right there. Sadelnikov has to be a little apprehensive about meeting the pros for the first time. It is the initial opportunity for him to play in goal for the Soviet Union in this series. He did not play in the last series either. On the draw now, a Neeson wins it from Jim Harrison. And Kapustin in the corner fails to clear. They leave it in there. Walton could not control it. Now Harrison gets it out to an open point, and the Soviets start back. Kapustin down the left side, inside the Canadian blue line. Missed the centering pass. Selwood missed him, and Harrison works against Neeson. They get it out now for Ricky Lee. Right side pass for Walton. Mahavlich case offside inside the blue line. They whistle that one down. Still no score. They played just over 4 minutes here. We'll repeat again in case you might have missed it earlier. The Soviet Hockey Federation announced they'll stop the game because of repeated violations and dirty play in this series by the Canadians. Those are the words they use. It's, well, to say the least, one of the most amazing statements ever made before a sporting event. Now, inside the blue line, as this game continues, for the moment at least, Vikulov works it out for the Soviets, tries to find Harlamov. Reggie Houle missed a check on him there, and it slides back down into the corner and finally out to center ice. They've got Tardif and Houle and Bernier on the ice for the Canadians. Vikulov now, number 18, inside the blue line, turned around by Bernier. Gets some help from Whitey Stapleton. Now Tardif along those backboards with Houle and Vikulov. It is still loose in there, still in play. Vikulov gets his stick on it, tries it back to Sagankov. His shot is wide. And Team Canada now slowly begins to move up with Bernier just relaying it off the boards into center ice. Vikulov away from Bernier, taps it back into his own zone to number 3, Vladimir Luchenko. Luchenko to Maltsev. Back to Maltsev at the Canadian line, and it was cleared out by Al Hamilton for Serge Bernier and down the ice. Not much of a thrust by either team offensively. A lot of tight checking so far in this game. Harlamov missed the left wing pass. Hamilton comes up with it and lost to Maltsev, and Reggie Houle digs it away across the ice, but Luchenko intercepted that. Canadians unable to mount much of an attack. The Soviets have been tied up once they've reached the Canadian blue line. Now here's Matt Sable in the head for Mark Tardif. Across for Bernier, too far. Luchenko around the board. Hamilton keeping it in. Hamilton works to the corner, missed the centering pass out. It was picked off by Sagankov. Harlamov now skating down the ice at great speed. Maltsev with him. Maltsev in the clear. Over top of the goal. And Cheevers split out to intercept him. Great 2-on-1 break there for the Soviet team. Right side pass for Reggie Houle. Houle getting set for Bernier. Behind him to Stapleton. The deflection there just missed at the goal mouth. Now behind the goal, they get it out to Houle, and he could not reach the puck. Hamilton over for Bernier off the glass. Bernier against Koto, now slowing it down in there for Mark Tardif. Tardif, as the Canadians have something going inside the Soviet zone. Let it come out loose. It's chopped down there. Back at the point for Stapleton. His drive blocked by the stick of Alexander Sedelnikov. His goal for the Soviet team tonight. Tardev could not contain it. Back come the Soviets. Shalimov got turned around. Bernier skating back inside his own blue line. They've played about 7.5 minutes of this hockey game tonight. And there's no score. Stapleton for Gordie Howe could not get it to him as the Soviets and Team Canada make changes now. Yakushev across the blue line, gets around Hamilton, pass it across for number 31, Shalimov, could not get it to him. Gordie Howe, a lead pass to left side is good for Mark Howe, inside the blue line, shooting off the goalpost. Mark Howe hits the goalpost and that blazing slap shot from the left side. Shadrin now with Shalimov, back for Yakushev, into the corner for Gordie Howe. Howe could not get it beyond Yakushev, who wants to tie it up in there. They finally produce a whistle with 12:46 to play in the opening period here in Moscow tonight. Howie?
Just a couple of excellent plays. Harmonov early in that shift. There you see him looking. He outskated Houle and also Hamilton and then laid it over to Maltsev. Cheevers come out anticipating the play and got his stick on it and went up over the net. A great save, but a great play.
Backstrom wins that face-off. Gets it in behind the Canadian goal. Marty Howe starting up now. Beating Backstrom on the right side. He can skate a mile, number 14. Ralph Backstrom at 37 clears it in front of the goal. And Mark Howe could not get a shot away, but it was whistled down outside anyway, back at the blue line.
Maybe if we get some shots at this Sedelnikov, we might get a goal because that hit the short side, hit the center of the short side post, and just another quarter of an inch, it would have gone in.
Backstrom against Neeson. And Neeson comes up with it, tries to break away at the center red line, got taken down there, and the Canadian team regains control with J.C. Tremblay. Backstrom on his left, dumps it over the boards, and they'll whistle it down right there. The amazing part about the announcement of the threat to pull out of the game if things got rough, Howie, was it did not follow Thursday's rough game. It followed yesterday's game, which was clean as a whistle.
This I can't understand. I think what they're trying to do is get our minds off of yesterday's game. I'm sure they're playing games with us.
Could very well be the case. Here is Selwood now with Tommy Webster at center ice. Webster, always a big scoring threat. He scored 2 picture goals so far in this series. Takes the puck inside the blue line, then was stick checked into the corner by Tierin, number 32. There's going to be a whistle now, and here's the first penalty of the game. Tommy Webster came flying in there. He'll get 2 minutes with the score. Canada nothing, the Soviets nothing. This is Game 8 from Moscow.
Tom Webster, number 8, Team Canada, 2-minute penalty for roughing.
From the face-off, Gusev lets it roll back into his own zone, recovers at the side of the net. Being watched by Andre Lacroix. Out to Valery Harlamov at center ice, and he was stick-checked by Pat Stapleton back into the Soviet zone. Number 18, Vikulov with it now. No score early in the first period of Game 8 here in the Soviet Union. Here's Vikulov across the line, feeding Harlamov over to Luchenko. Back for Gusev on the boards. The Soviets will pass it around until they get it just right. Vikulov getting away from J.C. Tremblay. Waits to make his play. Does now. Far side. Feeds it over. Luchenko on the point. Winding his shot. And that was blocked and turned aside as the Soviets buzz around the Canadian zone of the power play. Vikulov missed the tip there on the relay. Harlamov getting it out to Luchenko. Luchenko back for Gusev. Gusev shot. Cheevers makes the stop. It goes behind the goal. They center it out, and Jerry will have it and stop the play. The penalty to Tommy Webster was for roughing at the 7:57 mark. And he has 1 minute and 3 seconds remaining in that set.
There you saw Vikulov slip into the middle of the slot area. When we're killing that penalty, you've got to really protect that slot area against the Russians because they shift someone in there and their passing is so swift and so accurate they can score.
Maltsev on the face-off, digs it back for Harlamov over on the far point. The shot by Luchenko. Chivers did not see it, but it hit him, and he made the stop. Back at center ice now for Gusev. Big, rangy, but somewhat docile Soviet defenseman. Getting ahead to Maltsev. He is checked by Ralph Backstrom. He'll take his time, work to the blue line, and now feed it back and kill some time with 40 seconds to go in Webster's sentence for roughing. Feet ahead for Backstrom. Sadelnikov way out, and he hangs on, way out there. The Canadian fans boo because the Soviet goalie certainly was nowhere near his crease when he pounced on that one. In fact, he was beyond the face-off circle.
Here comes the play, and the goalie's having trouble skating here, and that's rather a risky venture. I'll tell you, if that puck comes out from under him, we've got a goal.
Canada still short-handed for the next 32 seconds here as the Soviets break out with number 3, Vladimir Luchenko. And he was stopped by Backstrom again, who's having just a whale of a game as he has for 8 games in this series. Back in front of the Soviet goal across to Yakushev, still playing on one leg with the torn ligaments in the left knee. Inside the blue line, they get it across to Shadrin. Back to Lyapkin. Over here on the far side for Kuznetsov. He shoots, and he hit the side of the goal with that shot from the far angle. And the Canadian team lobs it down. Just a second left. Webster is now back on the ice. Canada is back at full strength once again. They've killed off the game's first penalty. Number 31, Shalimov shooting inside the line. Chivers with a glove save hangs on. We've got 9:54 to play in the opening period here in a scoreless hockey game. One that Team Canada wants to win very much to go along with the controversy of the ending of yesterday's official 4-all tie and come out of this series officially at 3-2. It's free, but with the hope and the thought that perhaps they deserve better than that overall. In terms of goals scored, the Soviets still have a 4-goal advantage through this point of this game. These Canadian fans here are whooping it up. They feel very emotional about that statement made to the Soviets before the game, and that did much to stir up these Canadian fans. Now it is out to center ice. Race for it. Mike Walton could not get away, and the delayed offside is waved. Harrison cuts down a Soviet player, and it comes back to the blue line for Kuznetsov, who was hit by Harrison. Now Harrison inside the line shooting, and Sadelnikov just got enough to deflect that aside. Shadrin, Rick Wide, intercepted there by Mike Walton, and he and his teammate Jim Harrison trapped inside the blue line. They'll face off there with 9:28 remaining now. One of the points of contention yesterday of Coach Billy Harris after that last second goal was the tenths of seconds were not shown as they had been in previous games. Well, the clock tonight is back operating in terms of tenths of seconds once again. Ricky Lee down the left board, shoots it in behind the Soviet goal. Is stick save controlled there by Sadelnikov. Then a good body check by Harrison. Harrison could not win the puck. Fighting for it still, trying to center it out in front. And the Soviets take control with Kapustin now on the left board. Kapustin inside the line, and he says could not get set. He fell, gets up quickly again, feeds it down to the corner for Kapustin, centering it back. A pass across the open wing, and the big amp comes up with it. Mohavlich inside the blue line. His pass is blocked, gets it again, centers it all, and Walton was cut down in front as Sadelnikov makes a sliding save in the goal crease. But Walton, the man Mohavlich was triggering the pass for, was cut down as he got in front of the goal.
I don't think Sadelnikov saw the puck at all. There were 2 of his players in front of him backing up, and Walton cutting in through the middle, and it hit Walton's skate, slid along the ice. For the last second he saw it, fell on it. We need a break like that to get it started right.
From the face-off, a shot right there, and Sadelnikov had to make a save. He's complaining to his players to win a few of those face-offs, I guess. 8:44 remaining now in the period as Team Canada will make changes. The French line coming out, Bernier, Houle, and Tardif. Bernier could not win the face-off. Soviets Rushenko going in behind his own net. Forced back by Bernier. Bernier then bumps into Maltsev, and they do clear up the center ice area. Soviets have been able to move the puck well from their own zone throughout this series. Harlamov on the right side. Now in the corner, bumped and turned around, still has the puck. Tries to get it out there to number 18. Cannot do so to Shalimov. Now here's a chance. It is whistled down on the offside inside the blue line.
more I see of that Harleman, the more I'm amazed at the speed and the change of pace, the maneuverability that this young hockey player is. I think he's next to Yakashev, and Yakashev's been on the limb. He's the most exciting hockey player in the series.
All right, here is Harlamov getting it down inside the zone with the aid of Maltsev. Pat Stapleton, certainly an outstanding member of that defense corps for Canada, likely their best one throughout the game so far. It slides inside the blue line for Luchenko. There's no score, about 8 minutes to play in the opening period. Over on the right side for Maltsev, ahead for Biculo, closing in on the right side, then was tied up by Al Hamilton, and Cheevers comes out to grab it.
Boy, Stapleton got caught in left field in that one. He was anticipating a pass to a man standing on the Canadian blue line and come out to intercept it, and the Russian threw it right across the rink. That's the second great play that Hamilton has made to stop the Russians from getting an excellent try on Cheevers.
The referee at that point came over Kampala and was cautioning Coach Harris about something. Billy, of course, never looked too excited, did not react. We have no idea what it might have been. But in view of the announcement before the game, we're watching everything in that regard. The Canadians clearing it out of their own zone now. Here's Tom Webster. Left side pass for Bobby Hull is too far. They'll call that one back for icing. Must be a tremendous strain on a team knowing what has been threatened to them before the game. Of course, an obvious attempt to inhibit them. How do you think they are reacting to it?
Well, I've played little hockey, and my reaction was, hey, fellas, let's go out and play just as tough as we ever did. I don't think that type of thing would really bother them.
On the face-off, Lacroix wins it. J.C. Tremblay slides it ahead for Lacroix center. He cannot find Bobby Hull on his left, and now number 5, Yuri Lyapkin comes up with it. Shoots it around the boards for Kuznetsov. Now intercepted in there, picked up by Howe, and he almost broke in as the Soviets come back now. Here's Shadreen on the right wing, inside the line, watched by Tremblay. Could not center it against J.C. Tremblay. Still has control. Finally is checked in there, and Bobby Hull comes up with it. Hull with Webster and Lacroix out there. Paul Henderson is not playing tonight. Johnny McKenzie is not playing. Smith and Schmier also not in the Canadian lineup. Number of changes made by Coach Billy Harris. Bobby Hull now goes down. They're calling for a penalty, and they got one. And I must assure you, as the play goes on the delay, they finally stop it, that the Canadian bench called the penalty. Kampala called it strictly on their reaction. With the score, Canada nothing and the Soviets nothing. This is Game 8 in Moscow. Bobby Hull was tripped by Yakashev, and they give Yakashev the tripping sentence of 13:08, sending the Canadian power play on for the first time tonight. Let's look at it again now. The play was at the blue line as Hull started to go away. Yakashev there caught his stick in between his legs, and down he went. The Canadian bench called the penalty. Kampala did not react directly. When he saw their outrage as they were climbing the boards hollering, that's when he whistled it as a penalty. Face-off now for Backstrom with the two Howes out there. Gordy could not control it. Shadrin shot it down the ice. Gary Cheevers leaving it for J.C. Tremblay. Now Backstrom starting out. With Hull. Back over on the right side for Tremblay. Center ice. Trying to work it inside that line. Bobby Hull now coming in. Digs it back on the point. The shot by Howe was deflected to the corner. Backstrom with Gordie Howe. Back for Bobby Hull. Now Gordie Howe leaves it for J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay's shot deflected loose in front. They score! I think Tremblay will get the goal.
Watch this three-cushion bank shot. It did finally go in off the Russian stick unless Backstrom got a stick on it. But it hit two sticks. Howe let it go. Tremblay here shooting the puck. There it hits one. Now there it hits another. See it, Jake? I think it possibly went in on its own.
Don't think Ralph got a piece of it. Goal should belong to J.C. Tremblay. come at 13:47, just 30-some seconds after the penalty. Here's another chance right in front for Gordie Howe. And he shot wide. On the right board, Kodov, as the Canadians put the pressure on. Loses it. They get out to center ice, the Soviets shoot it down. There's going to be an icing infraction there. And they finally whistle the face-off with 5:51 remaining. There you see Boris Kulagin at the Soviet bench.
Here it comes again. 1, 2, yep. I would think it had to go in unless Ralph could reach a little further than we think he could. But just a great play, and coaches always say, shoot the puck. You never know what's going to happen.
From the face-off, they get it out to center ice. They say that Backstrom has touched the puck and got the goal. So Tremblay gets the assist on the shot from the point. Backstrom from Tremblay at 13:47 is the Canadian goal. 1-0 for Canada. Out for Popov, ahead to Anison, and Neeson now tries to center. It does, in front, they shoot. Cheevers made the stop. He was screened, but he hung on. That quick backhand shot is 6 go up in front of the Canadian net, but they're quickly separated there. Bobby Hull also
Watch
draws
me
an
on
assist.
29 here. He come across with him, got his body in front, but he let the Russian stick loose. There's no sense taking the body unless you control that stick, and the Russian picked up the puck, pivoted, let the shot go between Lee's legs, and fortunately, Cheever standing in the right place.
And goal, Howie, is Backstrom from Tremblay and Hull. 13:47 that gives Canada the 1-0 lead. And they scored on the power play with Yakashev off for tripping Hull. Canadian fans very animated, waving flags right in behind Jerry Cheevers now, that end of the ice. Hollering, go Canada go, face off, a Neeson shot goes to the corner. Brad Selwood now, dropping it behind his own goal. Jim Harrison starting out, number 15. Harrison, the center from the Edmonton Oilers, with Mahavlich on the left side. Mahavlich lost it there. Soviets getting it across to Popov, number 14. Over on the right side now for number 29, Sergei Kodov. Drifts into the Canadian zone. Mike Walton on the ice, lost it at the blue line to Anison. And Neeson gets it away on the right side for Kodov. He aimed a shot at the Canadian net. Walton is being watched in there. Starts to work it out now, then got checked by Popov. And it hunts over a Soviet stick. Mahavlich racing in there against Sierra at the big M. Could not win it. There's going to be a penalty call there against the Soviets for holding Frank Mahavlich. Number 32, Yuri Sierra, is going to get the penalty.
There's no doubt about it. It's a good call. If he'd have kept his arm off of Frank's shoulder, the stick had Frank pretty well under control, but he reached across over his shoulder and spun him around. Hey, that kind of thing's been going on here for the last 4 games, and hardly anyone's called it.
Well, you can't fault Kampala, the official, really tonight overall. He's called just the 3 penalties, but of course he was the object of much controversy and hatred of the final game of 1972. The linesmen are the Soviet official Nikolson and Doug Robb from Canada. Now for this power play, Billy Harris going to send out Bobby Hull on the point to play with J.C. Tremblay, who injured here at the last goal, and the line of Tardif, Bernier, and Houle out there. From the face-off, it is chopped over the boards by number 3, Luchenko, and they'll repeat the face-off. We've got 4.5 minutes to play in the opening period here at Luzhniki Ice Stadium tonight. The ICH game is a good look at Big Guto, Soviet defenseman. Off the face-off, Reggie Houle back for Bobby Hull. Hull away from Wicklow, plays it to Mark Tardif. Tardif looking to feed somebody, gets it to Houle behind the goal. Bernier in front, it deflects off a stick, knocked down by a high stick, the play goes right on. And center ice is Wicklow taking his time against Hull, and is taken down as he went over Hull's leg. Behind the goal is Bernier for Canada. As the Team Canada power play forms up again. Hull ahead on the right side for Reggie Houle. Houle stopping, makes a play to J.C. Tremblay. A shot, deflection by Bernier. Bouncing puck, couldn't control it. They bump against the backboard, and they dig it free. Houle getting it out of there, but not over the blue line. Stopped by Tremblay. He works away for Mikulov and then plays it back to the corner with the aid of Bobby Hull. But a minute left of the Soviet penalty as Gusev will stop play with a puck held against the backboard.
Hey, we just saw a beautiful play. Mikulov was coming out to check JC on the... All almost had his stick in the puck, and JC with one of those patented moves of his, flipped it between his legs, sidestepped Vikulov, and then flipped it back into Hool. Vikulov, when he was skating away, looked at him and shook his head. Some move.
There's Sadelnikov in goal today. Petchak not dressed for this game. Shadron on the face-off against Baxter. Baxter shoots it down to the corner, comes up the boards, and Tremblay back pedals now as Shadron works out with Kotov. Back to Shadron. Soviets with about 50 seconds to kill in their penalty. It's inside the blue line for Baxter. Waits for some help to get in there. None arrives at time. He works back to center ice, forced out there. Canadian power play very slow at developing and building pressure on this occasion. They scored the first time they had the power play. At the center ice area, number 31, here's Shalimov getting it down the ice. Into the corner, Shalimov gets it back for Shadran. Now the point of the active shot is blocked by Hull and Howe. Here comes Baxter with Gordie Howe across the line over to Gordie Howe. He couldn't get it to him. Number 5, Liamkin, blocked it with his stick. Bobby Hull had a takeaway. Here's a takeaway for number 19. Shadran alone against Jerry Cheever, and Cheever beat him. Cheevers with a stick knocked the puck away and robbed Shadran. The Soviets now are back at full strength as Gordie Howe starts up on the right side. Just a fantastic stop by Jerry Cheevers. The puck slides to Sadelnikov, and he will hold it for a face-off. How about that, Howie?
Got to be just a fantastic save as Shadron come right down center ice, nobody near him. Cheevers moved out to the top of the crease. Now watch him when he comes into the picture, how far out he is. Now look at him put the stick out. Slide the top hand up the stick. The only play Shadron had was the decum. And man, oh man, that's his third good play.
Just fantastic. Shadron wouldn't have had a better chance than a penalty shot. Home free in there. Walton has it slide off his stick, and now Popov, number 14, works out with Anison. At center ice, the Canadian line. Back comes Jim Harrison, back checking to retrieve the puck for Team Canada. With about 2 minutes to play in the first period of this game, with the Canadians leading 1-0 tonight. Pass up to Mike Walton. Gloves it, drops it back to his stick. Shoots. Bouncing puck. Sadelnikov fumbled the rebound. Walton got turned away by Sierra. The puck is in the Soviet corner. Number 29 is Sergei Kotov getting it back to 21, Shetelov. And out they come at center ice. Here's Kotov on the right side, feeding Popov. He was turned off the puck by Mike Walton. It's into the corner for Kotov. Centering it out. Walton intercepts that. There's going to be a penalty called here for elbowing against Al Hamilton. Hamilton elbowing the Soviet player Kotov in the corner. And so we have 2 penalties apiece in this game now.
Just can't take that type of penalty against anybody in any league, but particularly against the Russians when you're playing in Moscow late in the first period with a 1-goal lead. No reason at all to bring the elbow up. Just take the man out, take him out legally, because he had him dead to rights. There's no way he could have got by him.
Hamilton for elbowing at 18:21 allows the Soviet power play to form up again. Maltsev will center it. Harlamov is on the left. Vikulov is the right winger out there as the puck is won by Backstrom. He's seen penalty duty. He's seen regular duty, power play duty. Breaking it well. Backstrom, and he slides into the goal and knocks it off his moorings. They'll stop the play. But a great attempt by Backstrom there with the Canadians a man short. Let's watch it again.
Watch him go here. Put the puck between Gusev's legs, and I kind of think there might be a penalty there. Really, it's come see, come saw, but what a move. I find it kind of funny that the Russian coach has put, who I think their best 2 defensemen, Gusev and Luchenko, together. He's playing them as a unit. I always thought that he put these fellas with ones that were not quite so good. As a unit, they're very powerful.
From the face-off, Gusev behind the goal now starts up. He must apologize. We understand we're having a little video breakup on our picture today. Never easy getting a picture from this distance to Canada, and we apologize for the inconvenience. We're working on it. Stapleton working it around on the boards now for Mark Howe. Finds it behind him. Slowed down. Vikulov comes in to check him. He shot down the ice directly on Sadelnikov. There'll be no icing on the play. Of course, the Canadian team still has time to kill, and that penalty to Al Hamilton. 1 minute and 15 left in that as the Soviets start away again with Harlamov getting it over the line. Back to Maltsev. Up at the point now for Luchenko. Feeds it in for Harlamov. He could not make the play, and it's cleared back to center ice for Frank Mahavlich. Working one-on-one, he decides to go back and kill some time. Down to Whitey Stapleton. And now J.C. Tremblay. Mahavlich dropping it for Gordie Howe. Drifts a high shot on the screen. Sadelnikov makes the stop, and now Maltsev starts out. 45 seconds remaining in the penalty to Al Hamilton. Maltsev at the line. Soviets time those line arrivals very well to avoid offside. Chopped down in front. Here's a chance. Nikulov across. Oh! Shot wide by Harlamov. Maltsev back for Gusev. Rebound there. Loose in front. Gordie Howe picks it up. Gets it out to the blue line and finally works to center ice. Feeds it into the Soviet zone. Now 20 seconds remaining in the penalty. And that is it as far as the period is concerned. It ends with the Canadians on top by a goal. That goal came from Backstrom, Tremblay, and Hull. Backstrom deflecting Tremblay's shot from the point. He had the puck fed to him up the boards from Bobby Hull on a power play, while Yakushev was off for tripping. The goal came at 13:47, and in shots on goal, they were all even at 10 apiece in the opening period here at Luzhniki Ice Stadium tonight. And so far, obviously, the game is conformed with the standards of the Soviet Ice Hockey Federation. It has gone the full first period with nothing untoward in the way of incidents that might bring about its premature termination. With the score, Canada 1 and the Soviets nothing. This is Game 8 from Moscow.
The microphone on, Billy. Talk to me, Ronnie. What I'm going to do, Billy, the first time I'm going to show the replay of that goal 4 times from 4 different angles, and I won't bring you in at that point. Then you and I'll start talking, and I want to show you how the digital clock on Thursday. See it here? Yeah, we'll see it here. Had the digits, and then didn't have the digits going. The first 2 games they had them. Yeah.